This is J. Krishnamurti's first discussion with students at Rishi Valley, 1984.
What shall we talk about this morning? What would you like to talk about? No? What interests you? What would you like to do or talk or... Huh? Fear? I thought you were rather fed up with that word. Do you really want to talk about fear? Yes? All of you want to talk about fear? Huh?
Comparison.
What?
Comparison. Comparison.
Comparison. Anything else? Fear, comparison, and something else? Some of the older people there, older boys. Huh?
Love.
Life.
Love.
Love. Good Lord. Fear, comparison, love, and what else?
Prejudice, sir.
Huh?
Prejudice. Prejudice. Prejudice.
Prejudice. Fear, comparison, love, prejudice. Now, which would you like to talk about first? Among those four questions, which would you like to talk first? Come on. This is not an examination, so you don't have to be afraid. Shall we talk about prejudice first? Do you know what that word means, prejudge? That means you don't know me, but you've already judged me. Right? You don't know something, but you already have an opinion about it, a judgment about it. So out of that arises prejudice. Have you prejudices? Of course you have. You don't like certain people or a certain class of people because you are prejudiced against them. You mightn't like your teachers, but you have maybe prejudice against them. Right? Have you got prejudices? Have you? You're all very silent. Don't you talk? Would you all like to sit quietly? Then talk. Or have you lost your tongues? Good Lord, don't you talk? All right, I'll also sit quiet. Till you talk to me, I won't talk to you. There we are.
Why is it that one gets prejudiced?
Why is it that one gets prejudiced? Why does one get prejudiced?
You understand the word prejudice? You don't belong to my caste, to my group, to my ideological community, so I'm prejudiced against you. It arises, doesn't it, from having an opinion about somebody. Do you know what opinion means? No? Yes? Have you opinions? Why? I have an opinion about the Prime Minister, right? I have an opinion about the governor, or about the man next door, or about your educator, your teacher, or you might have an opinion about me, right? Why do you have opinions? You don't know me, so why have opinions about me? You really don't know your teacher, what he thinks, what he feels, what his life is, whether he's unhappy or unhappy, whether he's ambitious and so on. You don't know anything about him, but you already have an opinion about him, right? From that opinion, you have a prejudice. You are prejudiced. So why do you have opinions at all?
So
Right?
it appears as if opinions are inherent in us.
He says it appears as though opinions are inherent in us.
Is there anything inherent in human beings? Why do we take anything for granted that there is something inherent? You know what that word inherent means? Something born, something established. Inherent in, say for instance, a tamarind tree. It's inherent that tree is a tamarind, right? Have we human beings anything inherent? Or is cultivated? You understand? Or educated?
It's cultivated, sir.
Huh?
He says it's cultivated.
Cultivated. Who cultivates it? We ourselves, right? Why? Think it out. Don't say, just ask me, let's think it out. Why do you have inherent prejudice? Who cultivated it? Your parents? Or you belong to that caste? You have your parents say, I don't like that man, and you say, I also don't like him. So what, is there anything that is part of you? Anything that is inherent, inborn? Or is it cultivated? If it is cultivated, it's either cultivated by your friends, by your parents, by your community, by your society, right? So, why do your parents have them? why does society educate you to have prejudices? And would you ask also, what is society? Come on, discuss with me, come on.
Sir, society seems to depend on prejudices.
Huh? Depend on prejudices. I know.
Society seems to depend on prejudices. Society seems to depend on prejudices.
Yes. So, have you asked, what is society? What is a society? Don't go to sleep. Oh, you older people up there, what is society? Who created this society? This social structure. You know what society is? The government, the bureaucracy, the community, the individuals in the community, and their relationship with the community, with the government, with the whole bureaucratic religious structure around us. That's generally called society. Agree? Would you agree to that? Hey, don't you talk? I'm sure you do. Chatter away like monkeys. But here you refuse to talk. Are you nervous? Are you shy? If you don't talk with me, how am I to talk with you? I won't hit you, I won't beat you, I won't bite you. Are you not used to asking questions, trying to find out? Or you just read books, memorize, and pass exams? Is that it? Oh, how am I to talk to you if you don't talk to me? Shall you keep silent again?
So I'd like to know about prejudice which you create by yourself. And
By all human beings.
no, by yourself, not by the others around.
You have prejudice.
Yourself, because somebody has done something to you.
Somebody has done something to you, and therefore, what? You get prejudice against him? Either that prejudice is friendly or antagonistic. Right? Huh?
Says, how can you have a friendly prejudice?
How can you have friendly prejudice? Don't you have friendly prejudice about your friend? Huh? He says a nice man, or a nice girl, nice boy. See, we all have prejudices, unfortunately. those prejudices prevent us from looking, observing, understanding another. Right? If I have prejudice against you, I won't be able to understand what you're talking about or what you want to tell me. I cut you off. So, to find out what you are actually telling me, I mustn't have prejudices. I mustn't have opinions. I must be free to listen to you. And by listening to you very carefully, I understand you, what you want to tell me. But you are frightened of me, then I can't communicate with you. Or prejudice, or you have opinions about me. What is important is not to have prejudices, not to have opinions, so that you can understand, look at people. If you have prejudice, you can't love people.
So after that, after you have spoken to a person, you still don't like it, so then can you form an opinion?
What did you say?
After like you're gone with a person and you find that he is very stubborn and not nice, then can you form an opinion?
He says after meeting the person, if you find it is not very nice, you are prejudiced.
Of course. But he may be very nice. You may think he's not nice. But he may be very nice. You have to find out. And if you want to find out whether he's nice or not, you have to listen to what he has to say. You can't have prejudice beforehand or even after. One must have a free mind, free brain to understand something.
When you say you understand, then that's another prejudice again.
Huh?
When you say you understand a person, that's another prejudice again.
When you say you understand a person, it's also a prejudice.
No. I want to understand you. I want to listen to what you are saying. I want to find out why you think this or that. Right?
Then you can't say anything about any person.
You come over here.
Sir, I've asked.
Come over here. Come and sit down. Good.
So, well, I'm saying that it's just the same thing. I mean, if I say I understand a person, then that's another prejudice again.
No, no. Is that a prejudice? I understand. Not you, because I don't know you. I understand, say, for instance, Mr. Narayan. I've known him for a number of years, and I've talked to him, and he has talked to me. He has told me his problems, and I've understood, right? I've talked to him. I've communicated with him.
Then you can't really describe a person as he is.
No, I can't. Can I?
Well, you can't, that's it.
Therefore, I'm not prejudiced. Right?
Is that all there is to it?
No, there's much more to it. A human being is a very complex person, right? Right? Very complex. I've only understood Mr. Narayan very, very little. And that little doesn't prejudice me. I say I understand little. And I really don't know Mr. Narayan.
So you can't say anything about him
That's
unless you know.
all. That's all. So I have no prejudice. I can't say, I know Mr. Narayan. That would be stupid on my part if I say, I know Mr. Narayan. Right? I only know little bit, that which he has told me, that which he has conveyed to me, and so on, very little. But if I want to know him, and he will allow me to know him, you understand? Then I can talk to him, I can discuss with him, I can spend days with him, right? Then I begin to say, I know somewhat Narayan, right? There's no prejudice in that. Agree? That's all.
So, if there is a friend of mine,
Huh?
if there is a friend of mine, whenever I talk to him, suppose he rebukes me or something, and the next time I don't talk to him, isn't that prejudice?
I wouldn't call that prejudice. Would you? You talk to me and I insult you. And you don't like it. That's not prejudice. I've been rude to you, unfortunately. That doesn't make a prejudice. You say, but he's been rude to me. Huh?
Then in future you'll always attribute the quality of rudeness to that person, and then you'll keep avoiding that person.
Why?
Well, because you've attributed rudeness to him.
No, no, darling, just listen. I've been rude to you, suppose. Then you avoid me, right? Why?
Because I'm afraid of getting hurt by you again.
Again. Now, wait a minute. You are afraid of getting hurt again, right?
Yeah.
Now, what do you mean by getting hurt?
Well, I don't like the way you have behaved to me, and therefore I avoid you.
Quite right. Now, what is that's getting hurt?
Well, I don't like what you said about me.
I know,
because-
I understand. You don't like what I said about you, right?
Yeah, and I'm afraid it'll be repeated,
Yes,
and I don't
yeah.
want to be insulted again,
Now,
and therefore
what,
avoid you.
what is it that is getting hurt? You understand my question?
My feelings.
No, your feelings. What do you mean by your feelings? What is it? Listen carefully. What is it that's getting hurt? You said me, my feelings. What is me? Think it out.
So, could it be my ego?
Huh?
Could it be my ego?
Could it be my ego that is hurt?
You come over here. Come on. I'm glad you're a boy. There's a girl here, so you come and sit here. Now, what do you mean by ego?
So my pride.
Huh?
So like I think of myself as a person,
Yes.
and like I think of myself as someone, and someone says that I'm not that person I am. So
Right.
it hurts me.
That's right. What is that person? What are you? Sit comfortably. You can't sit.
What I think myself to be.
I know. What do you think yourself to be? Hold on, boy. You said that you would get hurt if somebody was rude, your ego. Now, what do you mean by your ego? Why do you mean you? What are you?
What I've thought of myself.
Huh?
What I've thought of myself.
Yes. What have you thought of yourself? You might like to tell us. But what have you thought about yourself? That you're a great man? That you're clever?
Yes, sir.
Right? That you're much more intelligent than me? Or somebody else?
Well, I don't have to compare my intelligence with another person.
Huh?
I mean, I just know my own capacity to do something.
Yes.
That's all. But that doesn't mean I have to compare myself with another person.
I didn't say that. If you can do, if you act according to your capacity, then you don't compare with yourself with anybody, do you? But when do you compare yourself with somebody?
When you think you're better than that person or you're worse than that person.
Yeah, that is, you compare with somebody, right? Now, I compare myself with somebody here, and I feel very down, because he's much cleverer, much more beautiful, much more capacity, right? He has traveled a great deal, and etc., etc. So, I compare myself with him or her, and I feel down, right? Right?
Yeah.
Why do you compare? Tell me.
Well, you're setting that person as a...
No. Why do you compare? I compare myself with that person, and I feel because he's so clever, so intelligent, I feel down, right? So I ask myself, why do I compare?
I think it is because I'm a bit insecure myself.
What?
I'm a bit insecure myself, and that's why,
Insecure.
yeah. And that's why when I
Would you come out here too? Come on.
No, it's okay.
You compare yourself with another because you're insecure.
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by being insecure? Careful.
Like, say, maybe something earlier has happened and I've been a bit frightened by it or a bit hurt by it, and say something happens, take the example of a test, and maybe if I do better than someone else, and then I compare my performance with that other person's, and I say, oh, I've done better. And well, I start thinking that I'm not as bad as what I thought I was last evening, and it does give me a sense of security.
Yes. So, what do you mean by having security? Careful, careful, think it out. Look at it. A man has a lot of money, he feels secure. More, he's also frightened, but he feels secure. A man who has great capacity, he feels secure. A man who has got a good position, like a good professor in a university, where he cannot be turned out, he feels completely safe, right? Like the Prime Minister having getting safe, he feels safe, right? Right?
When you're better off than
You don't think so? Good. You mean the Prime Minister or the businessman?
I think the Prime Minister will definitely be much more insecure than the businessman.
Much less secure.
Yeah, much less.
Yeah, you're quite right. So, what do you mean by being secure? Listen carefully, listen carefully. Everybody wants to be secure. Your father, your mother, you, the Prime Minister, the Guru, everybody, every human being on this earth wants to be secure. Right? Now, what do you mean by secure?
So when you have
Be careful, take it out carefully.
yes, sir. When you have no problems and no worries as such.
That's right. No problems, no worries, that one type. Is there a human being that has no problems?
No, sir.
Right? So he is not secure. Now go on, who is secure in the world? Is anybody secure in the world?
No.
Huh?
Maybe
Huh?
temporarily secure, sir.
Huh?
Temporarily secure.
Temporarily secure. You're a good boy, Major. Where do you come from?
Delhi, sir.
Delhi. Delhi is the most insecure place in India. Now, nobody is secure, are they? Nobody. Agree?
Nobody is totally secure.
Permanently. They may be secure for 5 years or 2 years. There is insecurity because we're all going to die. We may lose our position. A war may come and destroy us. So on, so on, so on. So, and yet human beings all over the world want to be secure, right? Agree? Everybody, including you, me, everybody wants to be secure. And there is no security. Because my wife may run away. I might fall ill. I might lose my money. I might lose my reputation. Right. So, and yet human brain, you understand human brain? You know what human brain is? Huh? Do you? What is it? You agreed, old girl? You said yes. What do you mean by the brain?
Well, it's whatever's inside our skull.
Yeah. What is inside the skull? Quite right. Right? What is inside the skull? Now, what is inside the skull? Think it out, old girl. What's inside the skull?
Something
What?
which is the
No,
capacity.
listen, what is inside your head there? Be simple, and then you'll find out lots more if you begin simply. What's inside your skull?
Grey matter.
Grey matter. Go on. Apart from the matter, the cellules, the atoms, all the nervous, I won't go into all that. So, the brain, right, is what you think, right, what you feel, what you react, what you act, what you think, and so on. It's there. Now, what were you talking about?
About the same thing.
Huh?
About the same thing.
About, what do you mean same thing?
About feeling and...
I know, but how did we come to the brain?
So when you're discussing prejudice,
Yes, go on, trace it.
from prejudice we went to discussing insecurity.
Yeah.
From insecurity to what the brain actually is. When we say that insecurity makes us feel...
Look, old boy, you missed a step.
Understanding the other person.
I know that later. Earlier, you missed a step. Everybody wants to be secure, right?
Yes, sir.
And apparently there is no security, right? In the temple, in the gods, Tirupati, right? Or in bureaucracy of Delhi, or the Prime Minister, or the local chief minister, there is no security. Right?
Yes, sir.
But, I said, the brain inside the skull needs tremendous security. Otherwise it can't function properly. You get it? Are you following this carefully? The brain, your brain, needs extraordinary security to function properly. And that's natural, isn't it? If you want to function properly, physically, you must have very good body. Very healthy body. Right? You must eat properly, exercise properly, rest properly, and so on. So similarly, the brain, which has sought security, has not found security out there. So where will it find security?
In itself.
Huh?
In itself.
Now, you say in itself. Now carefully, think it out. What do you mean by that?
So the brain can think of itself as something and therefore find security.
Now, just think it out. Is thought secure?
Not all thoughts.
Huh? No. Why? Go on. You began to talk. Don't keep quiet now.
Because it leads us to fear, prejudice.
I know, boy, I said, he said to me, what's your name?
Ajit.
Huh?
Ajit.
Ajit told me that brain can think that it's secure and therefore it's secure. Right? But I said to him, is thought secure? You may think one day of this and next day that. Another is something else. So, is there security in thinking? Huh? Come in front there. At last you're all waking up.
When you suppose you think, okay, suppose I get low marks, but I think, okay, I have the willpower, I can stand it. Then I feel secure. Okay, I have the willpower, I can do it. And you can say, okay, I can face it. It's okay, and then you feel secure. It's not that.
I know. So I'm asking you: will thinking make you secure? Thinking that you are secure.
Not always, but sometimes, like, if you get less marks than the other.
What's that?
He said that if you get less marks than the others, just continue.
Yes.
You begin to compare. And your thought itself will begin to.
So you find security through comparison, right? Sometimes.
Yeah, when you find that you're better, suppose you get more marks and you find you're better off than the other person in studies.
All right, you get better marks than I do. Suppose. You feel secure.
Yeah.
But that person gets better marks than you.
Well, I don't want to compare with the other person because I want to feel secure. And
But
if I compare with the other
I
person...
know, that sounds nice, but you're comparing.
Yeah.
Yeah, therefore you're insecure when you compare.
Well, I will avoid comparing with that person because I will feel insecure.
With anybody, not only with that person. Will you stop comparing with everybody?
No.
If you compare with the other people, you become insecure, right? Because somebody is much cleverer than you.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I won't compare with that person. I'll compare with people who are less better off than me. So that I'm looking for security.
Is that so? Do you ever compare somebody less than you, or always somebody better than you?
Well, sometimes it's both ways.
Both ways. When do you do that?
Quite often.
Be honest. Don't kind of,
Well, I really don't know. Sometimes I don't even follow it up.
don't, because
Well, I don't know why.
you
I
are
mean,
too
sometimes-
lazy.
Well, that may be the fact, but I don't want, sometimes I don't even think I'm comparing. I don't realize it.
Do you realize, we said this, girl, we said this presently. Any form of comparison, any form below or above, makes you insecure. You may compare yourself with me and feel very superior, but there is somebody else who is superior to you. Therefore, you're always, you follow? So through comparison, we said, there is no security. Right? Clear?
Yeah, but then it gives you a temporary security.
Huh?
It gives you a temporary
Temporary,
security.
but it's not secure.
Yeah.
Right? And I said, the brain, your brain, needs security, otherwise you can't function. Right?
Yes, sir.
Now carefully listen. We thought there is security in knowledge. Passing exam, getting more information, gathering, you follow? Getting a lot of knowledge, one felt secure.
How do you say that?
Huh? Why do I say that? That's what you're all doing.
Well, then you just said that you're insecure.
First, see what you're doing. You are being so-called educated. God knows what that means. You're all being educated to have more knowledge, aren't you? And you will use that knowledge to be secure.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So, is knowledge secure? Will knowledge give you security?
That is also temporary.
Temporary. Huh? But when the brain is in a state of temporary state, isn't it confused? Is it getting too difficult for you?
It is.
Little difficult. All right. Let's simplify, shall we? Suppose I have studied engineering, and I'm good at engineering because I've passed exams and I've got a degree, whatever that stupid degree is. I've got a degree. And listen, she has better degree than me, so I'm already insecure.
Yes, sir.
So my knowledge, however little or however much, it doesn't give me security.
So, but if you've got the maximum knowledge possible,
There is no maximum knowledge. Think it out carefully. I'll show it to you. I'm getting tired of all this conversation between the four of us. Are you?
Thought makes us feel secure and insecure.
What?
Thought makes us feel secure and insecure.
What?
He said thought makes us feel secure.
That's I'm coming to. That's quite right, boy. Come on.
Sir, can I ask you a question? Sir, then when can a mind means you can't work properly unless you have proper security, sir? You said the brain cannot function unless it's got security.
It's got complete security.
Complete security.
Not
Where can
temporary
you get complete
security. Not temporary security.
Yeah, where can
No,
you get
wait. First, put the question clearly. If the brain has temporary security, it is not secure.
What is security?
First, see, when the brain thinks it is secure, partially, It's not secure, right? It is not secure when it says, I've got knowledge, because you've got more knowledge than I have.
Then why do we compare?
I said so because we are educated to compare. In all your school, in this school, you're given better marks, aren't you?
Okay, now...
I'm not okay. Just see what you're doing first. Here in this school, you're giving, somebody gives you better marks than the other fellow, and you feel a little superior. And you get better exams, and so on, so on, so on. So, we said very carefully, where there is comparison, there must be insecurity. Right? So don't compare. Don't say yes and then keep on comparing.
But how can you stop yourself from comparing?
Stop it, because it is silly. It is so.
So whatever you're talking, we can't bring it into our daily lives. You have come twice before to Rishi Valley. We have talked, we understand, but then we can't put it into our daily life.
Why?
Like you're saying, don't compare.
Why don't you put things which you listen to in your daily life? Why don't you?
It's not something that's... It's not something it's really possible. I don't think it's really possible as such.
Huh?
I don't think it's really possible to stop on from comparing all... And
Wait a minute. Do you see the danger of comparison?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes.
Really see it?
Yes.
Do you see it as dangerous as a cobra?
No, sir.
No, that's all. That's all. If you saw something dangerous, you'd stop it, wouldn't you? Why don't you see comparison is a really a very dangerous business?
So I think it is really very dangerous.
Huh?
I think comparison is very dangerous.
We said so. We said it is very dangerous. We pointed out.
So how do we stop it?
Don't stop it. Don't stop comparing, but just see how dangerous it is, how meaningless it is. It doesn't give you security.
So you just
Yeah,
told
but
us
then when
don't
we
compare.
get down to stop comparing, we can't do it.
What?
When we get down to stop comparing, I mean, I understand that it's dangerous for my security and I want to be secure. So I want to stop comparing, but I can't stop comparing.
Oh yes, you can if you see it really is dangerous to your security.
No, sir.
Well, by now it's almost become a kind of a built-in habit.
So break the habit.
That's difficult.
If you are scratching your head and it becomes a habit, you stop it, right? Now just a minute, go slowly. I said, the brain, which is now lives in insecurity all the time, therefore, whatever it does is confused. Don't agree. See the fact, that's a fact. The wall is a fact. You don't hit your head against it.
Yes,
Right? So see the brain, which is now lives in insecurity, without security, whatever it does will be confused. Right? Do you see that? Yes, oh boy, don't take time over it. I'll put it another way. Gosh. Are you confused?
yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, when you are confused, whatever you do will be confused also.
Yes, sir.
Yes? Clear? Are you quite sure? Don't agree with me, I'm not important.
See, you can have clarity in thinking in some field, but then you needn't have it in another field.
Begin with one field, you will see what you mean by clarity.
Well,
How can you be clear when you are confused? How can you be clear when you are seeking security in things that don't give you security? Right?
Then do you mean to say that our life is a confused life?
Yes, sir. That's just what I'm telling you. What?
What do you do about it, he said. What do you do about it?
What do I do about your confusion?
What does he do about it?
Or what do I do about confusion?
So he means, what does one do about his own confusion?
Now, all right. It's much better. Now, what do you do about your confusion? Or do you know you are confused?
Yes, sir.
No, wait, don't say yes, sir.
So it is a fact.
It's a fact. Now, think it out carefully. You are confused, right? Do you realize whatever you think will be confused?
Indirectly, yes, sir.
Of course. Whatever you do will be confused.
Yes.
Whatever your aunt tells you will be confused. All right?
No.
She's confused too.
Oh. So you said if I'm confused, everything.
Somehow, I don't think that everything you do will have to be confused.
You haven't. If your brain is confused, which you said yes, then whatever the brain does, think, feel, act, whatever it does, prejudice, is confused. Right? Don't agree with me. Think it out. Right?
I'm not very sure.
You don't understand?
No, it's not that. Now I feel confused, so I don't know what I'm saying.
That's therefore, let's find out why you are confused.
Then how come I get confused every time I'm thinking about it?
No, I'm going to help you. We're going to find out whether we can clear up this confusion, right?
So, but are we capable of doing it if we are confused?
Huh?
Are we capable of doing it if we are confused?
You're not.
So then why?
Wait. That's a good question you have put. You're too quick to answer it. How can a confused brain act unconfusedly, right?
Yes, sir.
First of all, what do you call confused? Who is confused? The brain or the whole of you?
Whole of me.
Right? Except the physical organism.
Yeah.
That's,
Well, the brain is me.
darling, just listen. When the whole of your physical organism, which is not, if it is confused, you'll be ill. You are not ill now. Right? Therefore, the body has its own capacity, intelligence to function properly. Right? The body. You eat, you digest, and so on. Your heart functions, your liver functions, and so on. There is the natural process going on, right? Unless you fall ill, unless you catch a virus, then it becomes ill, right?
Yeah.
Now, we are talking about the brain. The brain is confused.
So does that mean that the brain is the cause of all these troubles?
Yes, sir.
So but the brain also controls the body, so it helps us to do things. So how can you say that?
What?
So the brain, it controls the body, it tells us what to do and all. Then how can you say that? So he's saying that the brain commands the body.
Right, sir. But if the brain is confused as it is, the body is also getting confused, doesn't know what to eat, gets ill. Huh?
One moment, sir.
They react on each other.
So what you mean is that the body is not confused, but the actions of the body is confused?
Actions, the body is healthy. Your body is healthy, right?
Yes, sir.
For the moment. Your body is healthy. But if your brain is not healthy, it's affecting the body.
Yes, sir.
And the body will affect the brain.
Yes, sir.
It's a interrelationship between the brain and the body. It's
So then
all
can you
one.
get out of it?
Yes. That's why I'm telling you, asking you to find out whether you can whether the brain can clear itself of its confusion.
I don't think a brain can clear itself of.
Don't come to any conclusion.
Please, I said I don't think.
You don't even say that. You say, I don't know.
So, but is it capable of doing so? A
We're
confused
going to find out, sir. Right?
Let's go.
Find out. Don't say it's capable or not capable. What?
If we are confused, how can we do so many things right?
What do you call right? What? You haven't got the real basis of it, old boy. You may do things out of habit. You may do things out of tradition. You may do something because your educator tells you to do something, right? And you think you're doing the right thing, but you may not be. No, you haven't got the principle, you're going off.
So do you mean to say that the right thing is the right for only one person, for himself?
No, sir. If it's right for everybody.
No, what I mean to say is, what he thinks is right, it won't be right for everybody.
Not necessarily.
So you can't say it's right.
No, that's all. You can't say this is right. Somebody will say, no, that's wrong.
Yes, sir.
So find out for yourself, not what is right and wrong at present, but find out for yourself whether your brain can become clear, unconfused.
How do you find out?
I'm going to show you, I'm going to point out to you. But will you listen to it? Wait, no. Don't say yes. Have you listened to anybody?
Yeah.
Partially.
Yeah.
Yes. Right? So you've never actually completely listened to somebody. Right? Correct? Now, will you listen to me completely? Don't try, do it.
So I have listened to some people completely.
Huh?
I have listened to some people completely.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
What does it mean?
So that is without any opinions.
Careful. Don't just invent. Do it. Actually do it. You cannot listen to me or to somebody else if you have prejudices.
Yes, sir.
If you have opinions.
Well, if I don't know anything about that.
About anything.
Well, if I don't know anything, then I'll have to listen.
Just listen, old girl. Don't. I want to tell you something, right? Will you listen to me without prejudice, without opinions?
Well, I don't know anything about that, so I can't have any prejudice because I don't know what it is about.
So will you listen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
That means listen very, very carefully. Right? The brain is the center of all your emotions, your thoughts, your feelings, your reactions, your fears and all that. Your brain is that. Right? Your brain is the center of all this. If you had no brain, you wouldn't be able to think. If you had no brains, you wouldn't be able to feel. Right? Are you listening?
Yes.
So, the brain is the center of all your feeling, your fears, your pain, your sorrow, your pleasure, your anxiety, fear, all that is there. Right?
Yes.
Now, so the brain is so confused with all this. Right? So the brain thinks this is right and this is wrong. And so it's creating more and more confusion for itself. Right? Are you listening to it? Or you're asleep?
So you're asking us to listen without any prejudice, but we know about the subject.
I'm telling you the story. Listen to the story. Right? Listen to the story. I'm telling you, the brain is an extraordinary instrument. The brain has invented so many things. The aeroplane, the jet, the computer, the submarine, the quick communication and so on. The brain has got extraordinary capacity. But its capacity is very, very small when it turns to itself. That is, I'm afraid, I don't know what to do. You understand? So the thinking about itself, the brain has become small.
So the brain doesn't think of itself.
It does. Because you're selfish. Right? This is too much for these people. Is it too much? Huh? Is it too much for you?
Sir?
Too complicated for you?
I don't know because I don't know what you're trying to get at.
Sir?
I try. You don't know, she says, I don't know what you're trying to get at. I'm trying to get at is a brain confused, whether it can clear its own confusion, right? I say to you, it is possible.
That one's brain can clear one's own confusion.
Do you know your brain is confused?
Yeah.
Now I'm telling you, pay attention to that confusion. Don't try to say I must get clear. Pay attention to why it is confused. I draw the curtain to prevent the light. And I know how to draw the curtain back will give me light. So in the same way, the brain has the capacity to find it can clear up its own confusion. It has got the capacity. We are not using it.
So if we want to, we can.
Of course you can. Of course the brain can. The brain can, being confused, it can find out for itself the cause of the confusion and break the confusion. Because it got extraordinary capacity.
So, but then the brain is I.
Hmm?
The brain is me.
Brain is you.
So I will be doing it.
You are the brain. You are not different from the brain.
Yes, sir.
What you think, what you feel, you are. Your name, your where you come from, your family, all that is memory. All that is thought. So, the brain has this capacity to go in one direction to an extraordinary extent technologically, right? You know what it has done technologically. And being self-centered, selfish, it has, that capacity has been reduced to a very small affair. Thinking about oneself is a very small affair. Because it is small, it gets confused. A technician is not confused in what he's doing. Right?
Yeah, but then that's again technology, it's another field.
No, it is the same brain. The brain can work there with an enormous capacity, but it's not working here.
So,
you understand?
So in the same way, a philosopher will...
What?
A philosopher...
Huh?
A philosopher...
Yes?
Will study himself, but he won't be able to do the technician's work.
He may, why not?
So in the same way, technician...
But it doesn't matter. He says, I can do that too, but I'm not interested. I'm interested in something else. Right? So, first of all, sir, just see your brain, which is my brain also. I won't go into all that. It's not your brain. The brain has an extraordinary capacity. Capacity to kill people by the million. Capacity, the means of killing people. Capacity to, technologically, to communicate between New York and Rishi Valley in a few seconds. That's an extraordinary thing to happen. Right? Now, that extraordinary capacity of the brain is limited, made small by thinking about oneself.
That means I am limited.
Of course you are limited.
So, does that mean that we have the 100% of the knowledge and we use only somewhere around 5% of it?
Yes, sir.
Is it different to say that I am limited and my capacity is limited?
The brain is limited by thinking about yourself.
So, but what are we doing right now?
Just a minute, one thing at a time. If you are thinking about yourself as you are, as most people are, 99.5% people are, thinking about themselves, their ideas, their hopes, their fears, their capacities, their success, their design. You follow? They're thinking about themselves. So, thinking about oneself is a very small affair. Of course it is.
Then you can't think of everything all at once.
I did not say that. Thinking about yourself is a very small affair.
Sir, what we are doing now is a small affair? What you're talking now?
No.
But then we are talking about ourselves.
Huh?
We are talking about ourselves.
I'm not talking about myself.
Well, whatever we are saying is from
It's
what
part
we
of us also,
yeah.
sir.
Huh?
Whatever we are talking is
It's
part
part
of
of what we
everyone.
know of
It is part of
ourselves.
us.
Look, both of you shouting at me. Okay. I'll come back to you.
So,
You asked me a question.
yes, sir. So what we are speaking right now is part of us.
Look, sir, we are examining together a human mind, human brain. The human brain is yours, mine, or hers. Right? And I said to you, don't listen carefully. I said to you, this brain has got extraordinary capacity, technologically. But it becomes very small when it's thinking about itself. Right? Each person thinking about themselves becomes very small. Right? Therefore, the capacity is limited there. And that limited capacity is destroying the world. When you're thinking about your own family, your own goodness, how much money you have, and I think about myself, we are fighting each other. Right? So every human being is fighting another human being. Business world, in the intellectual world,
Yes, sir.
right? So that becomes a very small affair. Right? Therefore, that which is very small becomes the factor of confusion. This is little bit difficult. Leave it alone. Now, you've listened to it?
I didn't follow the last part.
When you are looking after your own little room all day long and all night long and all the rest of your life, your own little room, and you don't look at all the marvel of this land, all the colors, look at it, all the colors, the beauty, the flowers, the poor people, but only concerned with your own little room. Huh? What does it do?
Makes me selfish because I'm thinking of myself.
Yes. What does that do?
So does it make us limited to ourselves?
Yes, sir. What does it do when you're thinking about yourself all day?
It makes us limited to ourselves.
Yes, sir. What does that limitation result in?
Confusion. Confusion of yourself. Like, you keep on thinking of yourself and you feel confused of what you are.
Now, just me. When you're thinking about your own country, India, what does that do?
So it makes us insecure.
And Pakistan is thinking, Pakistan, right? What does it do?
So it makes a conflict between the two countries.
That's right. Right? Conflict. So if I'm thinking about myself and she's thinking about herself, we are in conflict. Right? Right? Clear? Which means stop thinking about yourself. Will you? That's it. Nobody wants to.
Nobody wants to stop thinking about oneself.
That's right.
So what do we think about then if we stop thinking about ourselves?
You'll find out. First stop thinking about yourself.
So but then we have to care for ourselves.
But if we care for others, they'll care for us.
Huh?
So if we can think about the other person will think about us.
Which is, thinking about a person is still limited. It's too complex. We won't go into all this. Now we have talked for an hour and a quarter. Isn't that enough? Right? I think that's enough for this morning, don't you? Don't be nervous. So will you do something? Will you sit very quietly? Comfortably, sit comfortably. Sit very quietly and find out or watch every thought that comes into your brain. Watch every thought.